See, I need to change my hotkey for, I'll be right back there. I need to change my hotkey to start recording. Because apparently it's used in a lot of applications for things. Okay. Alright, so Louis is going to share his solution to the beast mode for the array challenge in Canvas. We're going to have a look at the way Louis did it, and then we can talk about other ways that we've done it. We'll make sure that we understand the way Louis did it. So volunteering to explain your solution goes a long way to make sure you understand your solution. So sometimes we do things and, you know, we might be like Googling things and copying stuff from Stack Overflow and then we have to explain to somebody else what we've done and why, then we can't. So we want to make sure that we know what we're doing and why we're doing it, because that's why we're here. All right. Are you sharing?
Okay, yeah, I think so. So you can see my windows are not the rest of
Did you share your whole screen? I mean your whole like desktop?
No, just that window.
Yes. All right, and just maybe make it a little bit zoomed in. You think Control Plus will do it? And try that? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so first explain what the challenge was.
So to create a shopping list where, a user can add what items they want to buy and the quantity of each item.
All right, you did the quantity too. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, and you used hashes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Is that bad?
No, not bad at all. Actually, I was telling Rachel, she got to that point of the beast mode, and I said, don't do this unless you understand how to use a hash. So if you don't know how to if you don't understand how to use a hash, wait until I cover it tomorrow. But I never will disparage you for looking ahead and figuring out how to do it on your own. Beast mode is typically involves doing something we haven't covered yet. So looking ahead, doing some research on your own. Typically what's in beast mode will cover the following day. What's in beast mode plus we may never cover, or it might be a week or two before we cover it. Okay? So that's sort of how those are structured. The expectation that we have is that you are able to do the basic challenge. And our expectation is that if you can do the basic challenge really quickly, that you attempt to do the beast mode and take the time to do a bit of research, so you're pushing yourself. And if you can manage to get the beast mode done in the time in the afternoon, then by all means go on and do the beast mode plus, okay? But you should not feel like there's an expectation that everyone in here is going to be able to do beast mode and beast mode plus in an afternoon, or even will attempt those, okay? So whatever you do that works for you is perfect. All right, cool.
So starting with a loop that goes infinitely until it's broken manually.
Yes.
So basically on each loop we want to ask, what would you like to add? And then so we store that in a name variable, capitalize it so that it looks a bit nicer. Then ask how many of that item they want, interpolating.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
String, storing quantity in UTY. Wasn't sure whether to do .2i here because, like, I don't know.
So what are so the question is, should we do a 2i here? We know a quantity is a number, so should we just do a 2i? And the way you answer that question is, am I going to use this in a mathematical equation? Am I going to try to add to it, subtract from it, any of those things? And if the answer to that is yes, then at some point you'll have to turn it either into an integer or a float, depending on what the number is and how you're going to use it, right? So if all you're going to do is print it, then there's no reason necessarily to turn it into a number. Yeah.
All right. And then putting that in the list, which I should have mentioned up above, just initializing a list variable with an empty array. And So yeah, putting the first item in the list in a hash with the name and quantity. Then ask them if they have any more items to add to the grocery list. So I'm using stdin.get rather than gets.chomp here, because instead of them typing a letter and then pressing enter, with this they just press the letter and then it goes on.
Yes.
And then so only if they press N will it break out and move on. Any other character, it just repeats. So I could have done else Y to repeat, but yeah, it's just like it.
Yes. No, that's fair. I think that's usable. Yeah.
Cool. And then so if you do Y here, then it repeats, and then you can add more items to the list.
Yeah.
Or then when you do N, it will go down here, clearing the terminal, so that it produces the list and makes it look a bit nicer. Then storing the length of the list in len. Then just checks if the length of the list is more or longer, just so that the little message it has at the top can be different, so that if it's like one item, it's not like you have one items in your list.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
And then it sorts it here alphabetically by the name.
Yes.
Not exactly sure how this works. This was just copy pasted.
Yep. So I can explain it to you. So sort by is a sorting method on array that allows you to provide a code block that gives some instruction on how to sort what's in the array. So this is useful when your array is storing something that's not a simple data type. So if we're only storing strings or we're only storing numbers in our array, then sort will sort those things the way we would expect it to. So if it's strings, it'll sort alphabetically, and if it's numbers, it'll sort in ascending order. Okay? But if what we have stored in our array is more complicated than that, then sort will sort things in a way that might not be what we want exactly. So we can tell sort by exactly how we want this thing to be sorted by telling it, giving it curly braces. That's how we indicate a block. We store in the pipes the variable name that we want to use to access each element of the array. So we called it item. And then we're saying we want to use item of name. We want the name component of each item. So each item in Louie's array is a hash with a name and a quantity. And we're saying we want to use the name element of that hash that's each item to do the sort. And so now what this is going to do is it's going to sort alphabetically by the name of each item. And then the exclamation point does what, Louie?
It sorts it in place, so it doesn't return the sorted array, it just changes the list.
It just changes the list, that's right.
Would that be the right place to use that? Because I don't need the unsorted array.
Yep, absolutely. That's a fine place to do that.
Cool. So then, just printing out the length of the list. So I put this here because, I didn't need to sort it if it was only one.
Very good, yeah.
List.
Yeah.
And then, 4 item in list, going through the list, which is now sorted alphabetically by name, and then printing out each item, its name, its quantity, with a little X for subject quantity.
Okay, so let's look at it run just so it's clear for everybody exactly what this is doing.
So I'm typing N now, and that displays the output. 4 items, and they are
and it's sorted alphabetically. Really nice. So first I'll see if anybody has questions. That's a very nice solution, Louie. Really well done. Yeah. And so if your solution is nothing like Louis' solution, do not feel bad, okay? Louis done a really exceptional job here. I wouldn't expect you to be able to do this yet, okay? So don't get caught in the trap of comparing yourself to other people in the class. There are always going to be people who are at different levels in this class. Louis, I'm guessing, has some programming experience before he came in. Yeah, and so that happens, okay? Some people come in with some programming experience. I can imagine that. So how many people are feeling like their solution is not nearly as good as Louis' solution? Or you couldn't even like attempt what he just did, like didn't even get to the items part. Okay, most people. So just raise your hands again really high, be proud. Look around the room, okay? So, and not everybody who's in that boat raised their hand, I know. So, don't feel bad about it, okay? Learn, be really excited that we have people in here at different skill levels that we can learn from and that we can work with, because it really is a blessing to have that. So, and Louis, you also did a really nice job of explaining your solution, so that also lets you guys know that Louis is a good person to ask for help, because he'll be able to explain what he's doing, and that's a really nice quality to have too, and we're lucky to have people in the class that will be able to do that. So, does anybody have questions? Let's look at your code again, Louis. Does anybody have questions about something that's in Louis' code here? Or suggestions? So I have a couple of suggestions. One is that comments would be really helpful. It's so easy to not get into the habit of writing comments, and it's such a bad thing. So it's super important, like I mentioned earlier, super important to comment your code. And it's best to do that when you're writing your code, right? So it's like talking to yourself. You know, this is what I'm going to do now, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to do, and then writing it. So definitely get in the habit of that. Another thing I noticed is that you could replace that second list.length with the length that you've already gotten. So instead of calling list.length again in line 26, yeah? Yeah. Now you should talk to Liam left, but Liam has he found a really nice solution I didn't know about. So I see how you did system clear or system CLS. Do you want to explain why you did that?
So because that's what somebody on Stack Overflow recommended, but I think it's because so that it's multi-platform compatible, because some shells will be cleared with clear and some will be CLS.
That's right.
So I think that, it'll try one of those, and if it fails,
Liam actually found an ASCII or like a Unicode string or something that you can put that works cross-platform. So instead of calling system clear, system CLS, there's actually a string that you can just put that clears the screen no matter what platform you're on. So I didn't know about that. I asked him to share it in Slack, but he hasn't. So I'll remind him, because I'll also share it with Fast Track. It's on his Git?
He actually used that. There's another one you can use, but he said the other one didn't work with him.
Right.
Terminal did one.
Okay.
Did that one with your form.
Okay, cool. Cool, so he pushed it up to his repo? That's how you know it's on his Git? Okay, cool. Good. All right. Yeah, and otherwise, I think you did a really fantastic job. It's a nice solution. I think it's easy to read and understand. My personal preference is I would probably echo back the key the person typed for them.
Yeah.
So that would just, for me, makes it more usable, but it's a tiny thing. It's not a big deal. I also never use infinite loops, but that's not a problem either.
Yeah, I thought that.
Yeah. It's not a problem to use an infinite loop and break from it. It's just not something that that I do because I don't know. I guess I've burned myself so many times by writing infinite loops that don't end. But as long as you have a break in there and there's a definite way that the user can get there, then it should be okay. All right, fantastic. Thanks, Louie.